I met a gypsy.
Yeah, I told you last night. I said I've kind of lost the stoke a little bit.
It's quite easy to do here, I feel like,
Mm.
because California. and I
Oh,
know
you're
you-
an East Coast guy now.
Well, we got a place in Georgia now,
Yeah.
but I feel like here, I love California. I love the desert. I'm a desert rat for
Yeah.
sure. But like, as far as tracks here, we're just cooked. We're
Yeah.
done. Nothing against all these tracks that are open. It's just it's hit and miss. And then it's not even the track prep so much as how many people are at each track, because now we're losing tracks. So now it's just saturated.
Yeah.
So the quality of riding is going down.
Yeah.
Because now you got 150 dudes on the track.
Yeah.
And there's no split in practices, which I don't mind if they don't do that or not. But you got little Johnny out there dodging.
I got hit on the week last week at Glen Helen. I was just trying to have a bit of a slow lap, and I pulled off to like the right side of the track on the hip, the famous Glen Helen hip. Dude just jumped straight into the back of me.
What?
Yeah, just he cartwheeled. I was fine. I don't know how I stayed up.
No flagger there.
No flagger. I had to like circle back. There was like 3 dudes went, flagged everyone down, and then I went, made sure he was all right. He was like, "Oh, you gypsy towels," and I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "That makes it okay."
Oh my God.
I was like, "Fuck, bro, you all good?"
It's just crazy how many different types of riders go out to ride that. And I was just there Tuesday, and it was the same thing. You got guys that are just barely learning how to ride.
Yeah.
You got a dude on an XR 200. Just too many different types of people on one track. And that's
A
perhaps
recipe
about
for
it. Yeah, it's bound to happen.
disaster.
right?
Yeah,
So-
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's wild that there can be so many riders and so few tracks. Like supply and demand should dictate that we're able to have. Like even going to Paris
Right.
was hectic, and it kind of reminds me of surfing in California
Oh, really?
because there's so many people that want to surf, and there's only there's X amount of surf breaks, and sort of the same thing. Like you just get out in these famously crowded lineups,
Yeah.
and you just can't do shit.
And then what I've noticed when I go back east and ride, they split practices, which I think is good.
Yeah.
But for me, selfishly, I want to keep riding, right? So I don't want to just sit around for an hour and then go back out. But they need to do something like that. And I think at some point they do that on weekends. But man, I've been to Paula on a Saturday,
Yeah,
and the vet track looks like the 91 freeway.
it's crazy.
It's a dust
dude.
bowl out there. And then just think about that, a vet track with 100 people on it. Guys aren't in shape. Guys are going over their limit, riding over their head. And you're seeing ambulances come in and out of there all the time. It's just crazy. You think there would be a better recipe, and we just haven't caught on yet.
Mm.
And it's hard for me. I'm not a track owner. Everyone's like, "Oh yeah, get your own track and do it." I'm like, "Yeah, it's probably a difficult job, but also I think there could be better prep. There could be more organization. I just think these tracks. I'm not saying all the tracks. Some of these tracks know no matter what they do,
People are going to show up.
They're going to show up.
Yeah,
We're coming anyway because
Yeah.
we're desperate. We need a place to ride.
yeah,
So if it's a half-ass prep or if it's a good prep, I'm still getting paid. So what's the motivation for them to do a really good job, right? And I think a lot of these people that come in and they own a track, they're just starting out and they're hauling ass. They do a great job for the first year and then they get burned out.
yeah,
And then there's like,
yeah.
you got people, us idiots, that are bitching about the track all the time. No matter what, they can't win. So you just get beat down. It's like being in a corporation.
Yeah.
You want to change everything when you get there. You're motivated.
Yeah.
And then you get chop, 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 chop. Finally, just like, I'm here clocking in and clocking out. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah. It is hard, man. I honestly hadn't even really put that much thought into it. And you know what's crazy, though? That's so much better than Australia.
Really? There's just not many tracks.
We have nothing, really.
What about
at
private
home.
tracks?
Like, yeah, if you know people. But like we have one track that we ride that's kind of close to our place in the Gold Coast, Stanmore, which is like, it's pretty good, but it's like small. It's not open very often. Well, and that's the other thing, right? So we have tracks, but they're open like a couple of days a week. Maybe one day a week for some, a couple of days a week for another. So yeah, I mean, even just the fact though here that you can ride every single day of the week is crazy. You can't do that in Australia.
Well, just think 5 years ago, we had 2 tracks up in the high desert.
Yeah.
And
Raceway 3.
we had
3,
395.
5, yeah.
We had Comp Edge.
Yeah.
And at one time, we had a place called VMC, which is right off the 15 freeway. And so we had 3 tracks, and I could actually ride up there all week and not
And
have
not
to go
have
down
to
there.
come down here. Yeah.
Yeah. So
What happened to those?
the guy who owned 395 and Comp Edge was the same guy, and he has another business, and he has lots of money. So he was doing it out of the love of the sport.
Yeah.
And he just like we talked about, he got worn down. He was tired of it, and it wasn't making sense for him. And he decided to close it down or sell it. And what we called Sunrise back then, now it's called 395. It just got sold to a trucking company. It's going to be a truck stop. And then Comp Edge is city-owned. So the water rights were really expensive. Not a lot of people were coming up because, one, it's kind of windy in the high des.
Yeah.
And it's a drive, fuel costs. So no one wants to drive. But I feel like now, if you reopen that place now, because what's going on in Southern California for tracks, I think it would be successful.
Yeah.
Because people want to get the hell out of LA, San Bernardino County, go up there and ride. And if you prepped it right, you'd get the people. So I just think it's cost too much. Insurance rates, we know all the thing about people suing. I mean, California's sue happy.
Fuck, that sucks, bro. Like, if you sign an indemnity,
dude,
like, how
we
is
could
that?
have a whole show on this.
How is that not a thing? You sign. Dirt bikes are dangerous as a motherfucker. You crash, you die. It's happened before.
Yeah.
This ain't a fringe case.
Yeah.
You cool with that?
Yeah.
Sign here.
Hey, man, I'm going to jump in a fucking Shark Tank. You might get bit.
Yeah.
You might fucking die.
Yeah.
But what I don't understand is, like, these people sue the tracks, or they sue the people, or they sue the other person on the track, or whatever, right? And it's a dangerous sport. Me and my son talk about this. Only time I would even think about suing is if some idiot drove a water truck
Yeah.
across.
Negligence.
Right.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's up to me and my parenting skills. Say, hey, man, there's a dangerous spot over there. You might want to use your fucking head a little bit and not ride over your head, because if you crash there, it could be good night. So these parents need to pay attention more to their kids. They need to understand the sport a little bit more, be more diligent towards their children. And then the guys that are out there being older, they need to be wiser and say, okay, look, I'm not very good. You got young 16-year-olds revving the shit out of me. I'm going to get over a little bit.
Or go to the vet track.
Or go to the vet track. It's common sense, but I can't believe how many people out there that don't have it.
Common sense ain't that common.
Dude, it's unbelievable. I run into it all the time, and it's crazy. And you're riding a dirt bike. It's insane. And I understand us that ride dirt bikes, we're not the smartest people, most of us. We're just people that want to be outdoors. We like adrenaline. Like, I get it, but, like, there is a sense of responsibility when you strap on a helmet, right?
Yeah. Dude, I'm a decent rider. There's days where I'm just like, you know what? I'm in the way on the main track. I'm in the way. I'm not riding at my best right now. I'm not fit enough to be stringing together a 20-minute moto out here. I'm going to the vet track. I'm taking my medicine and I'm going to the vet track. And I'm just going to
another day.
Yeah. And I'll come back. I'm building up the base. I'll get back out there. But, like, I don't need to be.
You don't want a dick measure.
I don't need to be amongst that
Yeah.
all the time. And it's just, yeah. And I see some people that go out onto those tracks and I'm just like, get the fuck off the track.
Well,
like,
even
what are you doing?
Even for me, like, when outdoor season comes, the Glen Helen and all these guys are out here training, dude, I'm like, I'm in the way. And I'm like, holy shit. I'll pick another time of day to go. Sometimes Glen Helen Thursdays before Nationals, I'll go at 2 or 3 o'clock just because I know people are leaving and I can get my practice in on a rough track and not have to be in the way of Jason Anderson or someone out there, you know? So,
Bro, what's Prado going to do?
Dude, I was on board. People were like, oh, he's going to be top 5. And I was kind of there. But I'm like, let's just get through the season. Didn't last very long, did it?
Well, outdoors, he's going to be amazing, I think. But not from California.
No.
He needs to go because, like, he's planning on staying here.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I think it's going to change. I think he's going to get it.
He'll have to go.
Yeah.
He's got to go somewhere.
He's going to be here for a couple months riding and doing. He's like, okay, this isn't it.
No.
He's going to have to go somewhere.
But, I mean, he would be used to public tracks a lot because of being in Europe. There are a lot of public tracks there, obviously, but
not this
I
crowded.
just don't know that it's like this, eh?
And he's probably used to riding crap tracks, right? They're not prepped. I don't think that's a worry. I just think the sheer amount of people and him getting the quality time in.
Yeah.
I even talked to Will Hahn about this. He's like, what am I going to do? My guys are going to go outdoor, and we're going to have to go to Paula. We're going to have to go to Glen Helen. How am I going to expect my guys to do 3 sprint laps with 100 people on the track. I can't tell them to do that. So what do I do? You know, so we're running out of places to go. There's a couple private tracks that are really good here.
Yeah.
But then that costs money, right? So how much time and money you're willing to spend to do that?
Yeah.
When you can go back east, where I'm going to be staying in Thomaston, Georgia, there's 8 tracks within 2 hours. And that's not counting the private tracks that are willing to go ride, or hey, I'll prep, come out and ride. There's so many I would say there's more core fans and people in the East Coast than there is in the West Coast. And they just love the sport and they want to just ride. So they're like, yeah, come out and we'll prep and we'll go ride together.
Yeah.
Or these other tracks, you know, they're all over. There's 8 tracks. It's crazy. So that's one of the reasons why I feel like I need to spend more time there.
Yeah.
Us media guys, we're all doing the same shit. We're going to Glen Helen. We're having an intro at Glen Helen. And all the manufacturers are here, but no one's going back east or doing things. And we're neglecting all these guys that ride back east that have different types of dirt, that live a different life. And I feel like we're missing some of that. So I want to go back there and spend some of my time during the year and ride better dirt, quality tracks, be with different people, see if the bikes change. And I just think California, man, we had a clock and it was ticking and it's running out.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.